Yeah, so good morning all of you. Again we are starting for our UT. Very soon your UT is going to start. So chapter 1 we have revised already. Chapter 2 that is going to be given, the question answers that are going to be given in your UT exam. For that the preparation we are doing, and the second chapter we will revise today. Fine. The title of the chapter is The Snake and the Mirror. As we already know, as the title itself is telling us, the snake and the mirror. Just a second. Okay, so snake and the mirror means the story revolves around a snake and a mirror. The complete story, the whole story revolves around a snake and the mirror. And what is the basic thing that is described in this chapter? That the writer is telling us that what happens when you see yourself in a mirror. What happens? Then we get attracted and we want that we should improve our personality and this and that. We decide so many things after watching after looking ourselves in a mirror. In the same way, what he is saying, what he wants to say, that have you ever seen? He is asking a question. The writer is asking you a question first, that have you ever seen a dog? Have you ever seen a cat? Have you ever seen a cobra or snake that is seeing itself in a mirror? Have you ever seen this? Do you have
No,
that kind of experience in your life? Have you
no,
ever
ma'am.
seen a dog
No,
who is
ma'am.
watching or who is looking himself in a mirror? No, we haven't. We never ever seen. I never ever seen in my life. But that kind of humorous story means this is a humorous story, and the funny incident which we come to know, which we will face, or which we will read about in this chapter, that we will enjoy also. Fine. However, it is terrible also. However, we can get horrified when we read the story. Fine. So right now we are coming to the story directly, and what is told: has its snake ever coiled itself around any part of your body? A full-blooded cobra. All of us fell silent. Fine. As we are revising the chapter for our UT, the chapter is already taught, so we will not go in the deep of the chapter. Fine. So what is
मैम
told
नमन को
actually?
जो
Sorry.
मैम नमन ज्वाइन होना चाह रहा है मैम.
Just a second. Let me see. I cannot see him. I cannot see his name.
मैम मैसेज कर रहा है वो. मैम नमन.
No, beta, I cannot see his name. So what I was telling, if it will show on the screen, then I will enter him. Fine, I will admit him. So what I was saying that this story actually, what the writer is saying that has a snake ever coiled itself around any part of your body? He is asking a question to you people first, that has it ever happened to you that a snake coiled on your body? Has it coiled? Coiled is called a circle, that in that way where a snake sits like. Fine. So it is just a terrible thing if we just imagine itself. If we just imagine in our mind that a snake or cobra is sitting in my lap, in my in on the part of any body. Fine. So here is the incident that we are going to read about. What happened? That the question came from the homeopath. The topic came up when we were discussing snakes. We listened attentively as the doctor continued with his tale. There was a homeopath doctor, and he was actually narrating this story. He was just narrating the story of his life's incident. His uh, this was an incident from his own life. The homeopathic doctor, fine, he was telling us about the incident that he faced in his life. What happened? See, it was a hot summer night about 10 o'clock. Yes, it was a hot summer night about 10 o'clock. I had my meal at the restaurant and returned to my room. The sound was a familiar one. One could say that the rats and I shared the room. I took out my box of matches and highlighted the kerosene lamp and lighted the kerosene lamp on the table. What happened? What the doctor was doing means he is describing the incident. How he is describing that it was a hot summer night and he used to take his dinner or lunch at a restaurant because he was living in that area alone. He was not having his family with him. That's why he did not used to make food himself. He was just taking his all the meals at a restaurant. Fine. So what happened to him? When he returned back to his room, which he has taken on rent पे लिया हुआ था उन्होंने, when he returned back to his room, he just listened a noise, voice, and when he opened the door, what he noticed that the sound was a familiar one. He was saying that it was a familiar sound. Familiar means which he know very well, the sound which we know already about. Actually, what he was thinking that it was a sound of a rat or something else. Fine, because in that area where he was living, in the area or in the room where he was living, there was a lot of rats used to live in that room. Fine. So he was saying that it was just a familiar sound for him because he used to listen it daily. And after entering inside the room, he lighted the kerosene lamp because it was a day where no electricity was there in that area. Fine, they were not having any electricity. So, just they were using for kerosene lamps which were used in the old times. The house was not electrified. It was a small rented room. I had just set up medical practice and my earnings were meager. I had about 60 rupees in my suitcase along with some shirts and dhotis. I also possessed one solitaire black coat which I was then wearing. What the person is saying, what the narrator is saying again, the house was not electrified, means no electricity was there. That's why he was using kerosene lamp. It was a small rented room. It was just a small room which he has taken over rent. Fine. I had just set up medical practice and my earnings were meager. Means because he was doing a medical practice, and you people think about the condition of students. The students do not earn themselves. That's why they are totally dependent on their parents, on their family. So he was not earning. He was not earning at all. His earning was zero that time. So his earning was meager. Meager means very less. Fine. You can say that it was approximately zero. Fine. That's why I had found, I had about 60 rupees in my suitcase, and he was saying that only and only 60 rupees I was having that time, and along with some shirts and dhotis. Some shirts and dhotis means only the necessary item he was having with him. Not any luxurious item he was having. He was just having that much money which he could, which was sufficient for his needs only. Fine. Then also possessed one solitary black coat which I was then wearing, and he was only a solitary. Solitary means only a single black coat he was having, which he was wearing that time when he entered inside the room. Fine. I took off my black coat, white shirt and not so white vest. What is vest? He took off. Took off means
inner wear.
inner wear. Fine. I took off his my black coat. He was saying that I took off my black coat. Took off means nikal dena, utar dena. So while entering inside the room, we all do that thing that we change our clothes. So the writer was also doing, he took off his clothes, his white shirt, and he took off his white shirt also. He was wearing a vest. Vest means inner wear जो होता है हमारा बनियान, actually we call it. Fine. Then what he did, he just hung all the clothes, and I opened the two windows in the room. It was an outer room with one wall facing the open yard. It had a tiled roof with long supporting cables that rested on the beam over the wall. There was no ceiling. There was a regular traffic of rats to and from the beam. What he was saying, after taking off my black coat, after taking off my white shirt, after taking off my vest, he was saying that I opened the two windows. The writer was saying that the room was having two windows, so he opened those both windows because it was a hot summer night. We already read in the chapter that it was a hot day. That's why he wanted to have some fresh air inside his room. That's why he opened both the windows, and it was an outer room. The room is described also that it was an outer room, means as like we are having an outer room near about the gate of our house. So that kind of room it was. And while facing the open yard, means it was facing, means there was a yard also. Yard is called open area near about his room. I had a tiled roof. It had a tiled roof with long supporting cables that rested on the beam over the wall. And in this tiled roof was there. You may have seen a storing place upon over our rooms in the old areas. In the old days it was made. Fine. So there was a tiled roof and supporting cables that rested on the beam. Means beam को support करते हुए ceiling बना हुआ था. Then there was a regular traffic of rats to and from the beam. Means so many rats were there in that area. They were having so many rats in that area. There were a regular traffic of to and fro. What they are saying actually, regular traffic means the rats were going and coming back without any interruption. They were racing. They were having a race in that area, and they were running in the area in his room. I lay down, but I could not sleep. I got up and went out to the veranda for a little air, but the wind god seemed to have taken time off. What happened after that? Because as it was described that it was a hot summer day, that's why he laid down for some time. He wanted to sleep, but he could not sleep. He could not sleep because it was a hot day. Fine. At last, what he did? I got up and went out to veranda. What he did? He woke up, he got up from his bed, and he went out. For some fresh air, he went outside, and what he did, the wind god seemed to have taken time off. The wind was blocked actually. It was not a windy day. Fine. So he was feeling hot. I went
What
back.
is veranda?
Veranda is the open area. That is called corridor also. You can call it corridor. Fine. Are you getting my point? Veranda
Yes,
is the
ma'am.
open area that is outside of, not outside of our home, outside the rooms and inside the gate. Okay. Then I went back into the room and sat down on the chair. I opened the box beneath the table and took out a book. The Materia Medica. I opened it at the table on which stood the lamp and a large mirror. A small comb lay beside the mirror. Now, the person. Now, what writer did? because there was no air outside also, there was no fresh air, it was not a windy day. So what the author decided, what the narrator decided, that he should go inside, he should go back inside the room. So he came inside the room again and sat down on his chair, and he thought that because he was not feeling sleepy, that's why he thought that he should start reading a book. And he brought out a book beneath the table from the box, where a box was kept beneath the table, under the table. So he brought out a book from the table, from that box, and the title of that book was Materia Medica. I opened it at the table on which stood the lamp. Means he kept that book on the table and he started reading the table. He started reading the book, and what was kept on the book? What was kept on the table? A large lamp was kept, a large mirror was kept, a small comb was left, and beside the mirror. Beside the mirror means adjacent. Beside क्या होता है? There are two words, beside and besides. What is beside? Means next to me. Fine. And besides means in adjacent to me. Means इसके साथ साथ मैं क्या करती हूँ, if I am saying. Fine. So beside that mirror a comb was also kept on the table. One feels tempted to look into a mirror when it was near one. I took a look. In those days I was a great admirer of beauty, and I believed in making myself look handsome. I was unmarried and I was a doctor. I felt I had to make my presence felt. I picked up the comb and ran in through my hair and adjusted the parting so that it looked straight and neat. Again I heard that sound from above. What the writer was doing, as all the youngsters are like that, what do? Their first priority is to look handsome. Their first priority is to look beautiful. Fine. So he was also a youngster, he was also a young person, and he was a doctor himself also. He was doing the practice of doctors. Fine. So what is tempted? Tempt is get attraction. Fine. The youngster get attracted by themselves even. They get tempted by their beauty. So he was also a doctor. He was saying that whenever we see a mirror, we get tempted by ourselves. हम अपने आप से आकर्षित हो जाते हैं, हम अपने आप से attract हो जाते हैं actually. And when it near once, it took a look. When the mirror was kept near about him, he started looking inside in the mirror. In those days, I was a great admirer of the beauty. Admirer is called who can admire. Admire means praise beauty. Praise karna means तारीफ करना. So what he was doing, he was a great admirer of beauty. Means he himself was an admirer. He himself was a praiser of the beauty. So what he started doing, I believed in making myself look handsome. What he was believing in those days, he was thinking that he should look handsome so that he should look attractive also. Fine. So he was just his concentration was there only. Fine. So he started looking. He was saying that I was unmarried and I was a doctor also. He was unmarried, and unmarried people are, whenever they are in the age of their marriage, you can say that they wants to become handsome, and girls want to become smart or attractive, and also same is the demand of boys also, that they want to look handsome. Fine. So he was saying that I picked up the comb which was kept on the table, and I started running it through my hair. Through my hair means between my hairs, among my hair. He started combing the hair and adjusted the parting. Parting is called, what is parting?
मैम हेयर के बीच में से वो लाइन निकालते हैं तो
Yes. The line that is between among our hair means जो मांग निकालते हैं, that is called parting. So he started adjusting that parting of the hair, and it so that it looked straight and neat, so that he can adjust his hairs in a neat way. Again I heard the same sound which he was hearing, which he heard while entering inside the room. Again the same sound he heard. Fine. So this was all about the half of the chapter. We are going a little bit again. I took a close look at my face in the mirror. I made an important decision. I would shave daily and grow a thin mustache to look more handsome. I was, after all, a bachelor and a doctor. What he decided after looking, when he was just looking in the mirror, what he decided? He was combing his hair. What he decided that day? That I will shave myself daily. Fine. Because he wanted to look himself. He wanted to make himself handsome, that he could, the person who see him, the person who see him, that person get attracted with him. That's why he decided that I will shave daily and grow a thin mustache. Mustache is called
Daddy.
no, that is called
A mooch.
beard. That is called beard. Mustache is called
Right.
mooching. Fine. So
Mooching.
he decided that I will grow a thin mustache over my upper lip. Fine. Then to look more handsome, he thought that he will look more handsome in that way. I looked into the and I was after all a bachelor and a doctor. After all, I was a bachelor, means he was unmarried that time, and I was a doctor also. So he decided that he will do this for getting more attractive. I looked into the mirror and smiled. It was an attractive smile. I made another earth-shaking decision. I would always keep that attractive smile on my face to look more handsome. I was after all a bachelor and a doctor too on top of it. Again and again he was saying that I was a bachelor and I was a doctor too. And what he decided then? He decided that he will keep a thin mustache. Then next thing he decided that he will always keep a smile on his face. Whenever we keep, see, you just notice this thing. Whenever we keep a smile on our face, we looks very beautiful. But if we have an angry look on our faces, we just look bad. Fine. So we will continue the chapter tomorrow and start preparing for your unit test. Fine. This much is there for today. Bye bye, all of you.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
Bye, man.
Bye bye.